Well, it's going to be a really busy day. Everybody here's on the farm, trying to get the ducks back in at the moment. We've got to go to the pumpkin field and get some pumpkins. A farmer there has said, look, I've got a load of pumpkins that we can't sell. They're too small, didn't grow properly. So we're going to go and get those so we can use it as supplement duck food. Then Pie's going to plant some morning glory along the pond bank. We've just fed all the animals. It's all go. It's all go. Today I'm going to cover an issue that I've been asked on a few occasions, and that's can foreigners own property in Thailand? I'm afraid it's not as clear cut as it may seem, so I'm going to break this down for you. Looks unremarkable really, doesn't it? Dirt. And that's what property ownership comes down to. Just dirt. To a Thai, it's the most valuable thing they have, and it's one of the reasons why property ownership is heavily restricted here. What they don't want is foreigners basically buying up all their dirt, their land, and calling it their own. They just don't. Thailand is not unique in the restrictions of foreign property ownership, not by any stretch of the imagination. But it is quite complex, so I'll take you through several aspects of it. The first is condominiums. A foreign national may own a condominium unit freehold, so they can own it in their own name, no problems at all. But here's where it gets a little bit tricky. Let's just say a condominium unit is built and there are 100 units. Foreigners may only acquire up to 49% of the entire complex. This is to ensure that no foreigner or group of foreigners has controlling interest in the land that the condominium sits on. It's as simple as that. So yes, you can own a condominium in your own right, but it is restrictive. There is an issue here, and the issue came to light several years ago. I can't remember the full details. This is a good 10 years ago. But what happened was there was an issue with the condominium management, and the foreign owners took umbrage to it, formed their own committee, and then tried to make the necessary changes. Apparently it was falling into disrepair and they were not happy about it because it was affecting their investment. The offshot of this was that the Thai management team basically reported foreign owners for working without a work permit, and they were arrested for working without a work permit. So yeah, it's even though you can own it, it's slightly contentious, and you do have to be careful. Buying condominiums off plan is also an extremely risky proposition. There are no end of cases where developers have taken people's money and then not come true on their promises of developing. It can take years, if not decades, for this type of thing to go through the courts and for the foreigners to get their money back. It's not something I'd recommend. When it comes to property in Thailand and property ownership for a foreigner, it is a high risk proposition. Now when it comes to owning that beautiful villa with a pool, it becomes even more difficult. If you look on any decent realtor's website, they'll have information on the restrictions of foreign property ownership. But there are several ways you can go about this. One, if you are married to a Thai, then you can put the land in your wife's name. A foreigner can own the building, but he can't own the land. But there is an issue here. You have to sign a notary paper with the lawyer to say that you've gifted the land to your wife, or the money to buy the land, so that you have no holding over the land whatsoever. Of course, if the marriage fails for any reason, then you'll have to go through the courts in order to split up the asset. So that's one way of doing it. The other way to do this is to set up a Thai company. Now the Thai company can actually own the land. But there's an issue here as well, and because if you do that, you can still only own 49% of the company. So you'll have to put 51% of the land asset into a Thai's name. There is a way around this, and it's often used, and that's using nominees. Basically what the lawyer will do, will set up the Thai company. 51% will be owned by Thai nationals, and then they basically sign over the voting rights to the business in your name. It is actually illegal. If you get caught doing it, the chances are the courts will strip you of your property. You'll end up losing the lot. So be careful if you're considering this. When you look at most professional realtors, they will tell you that only Thais can own the land, and the only thing you can do as a foreign national is to lease the land for 30 years. There's another issue here, of course, because a lot of them will tell you that you can get a lease for 30 plus 30 plus 30. In other words, 2 renewable 30 years. It's not actually true. It's illegal. There was a recent court case where the judge basically made the contract null and void. The maximum allowed by Thai law for foreigners to lease property, or land in this case, is 30 years and no more. A contract that promises to renew that lease is worthless. So do be aware of what you're letting yourself in for. There are many grey areas to this. From where I come from, the United Kingdom, the law would seem almost ludicrous. But this is not the United Kingdom, nor is it the United States or any part of Europe. It is Thailand. And as I said earlier, Thailand is not unique in restricting foreigners from owning land. There are many foreigners here that feel that Thailand misses out hugely on investment because of the restrictions on land ownership. But you know, that's the way it is. It's up to them what they do with their country. This is not my country, and I have no say in their political agenda. What they wish to do with it is entirely up to them. And that's my view on it. It's one of the reasons why that so many people simply rent. It's the easiest way to go. You sign a contract for a certain period of time, and it's as simple as that. One of the real benefits to renting, of course, if you ever get tired of living there, you can just pack your bags and go. You don't have to, go and find a new home to live. You're not tied down to a particular property. When it comes to investing a huge sum of money, and if you're looking at places like Phuket, Hua Hin, Pattaya or Bangkok, property prices are pretty steep. I mean, it's not cheap. For a decent home, you could be looking at $500,000 US dollars and above. So yeah, it is, as far as I'm concerned, and many other expats, a high risk proposition that simply doesn't add up. It's just not worth it. It really depends on who you speak to as to the state of the property market in Thailand. I know some people who are involved in the property market who have said that they haven't sold anything in the last 18 months. There seems to be a huge amount of supply with very little demand, and many feel that the demand continues to dwindle due to the restrictive nature of the Thai property laws. But again, it's up to them. Nobody's forcing anybody to buy anything. If you decide you want to go ahead and buy a home or even a condominium, the choice is yours, but you do need to be made aware of the pitfalls. My advice has always been, do your research. Again, I've said this so many times. If you're going to live in a foreign country, not just in Thailand, but any foreign country, then do your research. And, again, go there for 6 months, try it out. Do not burn your bridges back home. Don't go selling all your property and everything else and then just, taking a sack full of cash to wherever you're going. It's folly. It really is folly. There's no guarantee you're going to like it. So, yeah, don't burn your bridges. Try it out for 6 months and see how you get on. And if you're not absolutely 100% satisfied with the way you can own something, then don't do it. It's as simple as that. Just rent. It's so much easier. For me personally, I'm lucky in the respect that I'm married to Pi, and we don't have any issues. if we were to buy a property, the land would go in her name, and then she would sign over a lease to me for 30 years. It would ensure at least I had somewhere to live for the next 30 years. Pi is pretty pragmatic about this. She knows how it works, and she's read all the horror stories of expats losing their shirts to their Thai wives and everything else. It does go on, and it's prevalent. There's lots of it. So again, do your research, you know, go online. It's not difficult. Go to Google, type in what you need to type in, you know, foreign property ownership in Thailand, and see what information is available. You're going to find it is wide and varied. There are people who are extremely happy, and there are people who have lost everything they have. It's just the way it goes. There's always going to be a good and bad to any situation. So yeah, just do your research. Well, that's about it on Thai property ownership. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of questions on this, but again, go through the video again. You may have missed something, and remember that nobody's forcing you to buy property. Nobody at all. The Thai government make it perfectly clear as to what you can and you cannot do. Just do your research and then decide for yourself. And again, if you're uncertain, rent it. That's about it. Now, despite all of this, and Thailand has a huge number of problems, but so does every other country I've ever been to. If you're looking for utopia, I'm afraid you'll be looking for it until you go to your grave. It doesn't exist. The world is a complex place. It's getting smaller by the day, and it's one of those things where, you know, happiness, I believe, is achieved through your own mind. It's where you're content and what you're content doing, and enjoy wherever you are to the best that you possibly can. And remember, if you don't like it, there's always an airport. Well, that's about it for today, guys. I'm going to close this video off. I've got a huge amount to do. I've got this whole pumpkin field to shift, but it's free food for the ducks, so no complaints there. Pi's just finishing off planting some morning glory in the pond, which is good for the fish and it's good for us. Try morning glory stir fried with a little bit of oyster sauce. Absolutely delicious. So that's it, guys. Have a fantastic day, and remember, stay safe. Please don't forget, subscribe, share and like. It does make a huge difference. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Bye for now.